Hi everyone, welcome once again to the channel of Tango Brillante DC, where we learn how to dance tango in a very technical, interesting and enjoyable way more than anything else. If you are familiar with tango already, this lesson is going to be very useful for you. If this is your first time in our channel, please try to explore. We have about 50 or 60 lessons already in our YouTube channel, and these lessons are going to help you understand a lot better this last lesson that we are posting. Every exercise that we do is like almost from zero. We scratched everything, and we are working now on certain exercises that are probably for a level. If you're in a level of tango that it's advanced beginner, that is what we are now. So it's not very difficult, it's not easy either, but it's just for the newcomers to realize what is happening in our channel right now. Before I start, I just want to comment to you that things are going back soon. Probably we're going to stop doing these lessons. I'm not really sure. I'm going to try to go with the flow and with what people like you require, because that's the reason why we are here, to help you, not so much to just do what we do. So we're going to figure out how we're going to do that. Something that we know for sure is that the dance studio Ludmila is opening again, so we're going to have our first alternative milonga after all this lockdown. We're going to go back there on June the 25th, so be ready for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to dance the best movements of tango to non-traditional music, so it's going to be a lot of fun. That said, we also have our a new episode in our podcast. We did Tristeza Marina yesterday, which is a very beautiful song. In this case, is the performance that I like most is the one by Carlos Di Sarli. So the story behind this, and if you listen to that song, before I go to the story, if you listen to that song immediately, you're going to say, oh, I remember this song. So, and the story behind this song, this tango song, is very interesting, and I would love you to listen the full episode. It would be a lot of fun, and it also will give you a little bit to, like, you know, all this information opens up discussion and opens up more comments or more things that you're interested. If you have any more comments about that after you listen to this episode this week, come join us in our alternative music milonga every Sunday at 7:30, where we get together, we see each other, we keep up with all these things that we're doing. Okay, so the lesson today, we're going to do a very interesting series of movements. You already know all the movements, but we are going to try to put them together. I'm going to start, as I usually do, with the leader's role. And I want, for now, don't worry too much about the direction. I want you to take care of what your body is going to be doing. For now, we're going to be just doing a couple of sandwiches, back to back. So how do I do sandwich? My movements as a leader, I'm going to take a side step. I'm going to move my dance partner just with my torso, and one back ocho, another one. And we already know that when we're leading a sandwich, I lead with my torso, and I let my dance partner step the second back ocho, but I am not going to go and walk with her. I'm going to just start that sandwich. Which, how do I do that? My right foot is being placed on the outside of her left foot. Right after that, I do the sandwich, and then I go back. That is the regular sandwich, right? In this case, I want you to do a really extra effort, gentlemen, to focus just in your midsection. So I'm going to use a pillow to show you how I'm going to do this. You don't really need to embrace you don't really need to do the tango embrace. I just want you to hold it here. I go back ocho. Look how I'm going to move my torso. So I'm doing a very, for now, I'm using a lot of this association, a lot of flexion in my upper body. I'm trying not to move everything. This is wrong. I don't want you to do this. See, if I move everything all together, I don't generate space for my dance partner to follow me. So I just want to start by explaining to you that I want you to practice this overdoing this disassociation. So see how I'm going to like even exaggerate it a little bit more than I did it. Boom. Instead of like thinking that the sandwich is in front of me, I'm going to think that it's almost on my side. Now, notice that I go first after the sandwich. I'm going to do this in slow motion so you can tell what I am doing. First part of the sandwich, right? Here, I already am doing a twist of my upper body. I do the sandwich. And in order to exit, I need to move. I'm still with my dance partner, with my torso, but I still need to go back. So see, this is the most important part. I want you to go really behind, and then you invite, using your torso, you invite your dance partner to come forward. Okay? So that disassociation is coming a little bit for now from your hips. I want you to think hips. I'm going to give you a homework after the lesson in order to practice the elongation on your sides. But going back to the exercise, that was a little bit of an information just for to explain the way that we're doing the back ochos and the sandwich today. But now, once again, we're going to do 2 back-to-back sandwiches. I'm going to go the first one, back ocho. I invite. I go. And see, here I keep moving my upper body. 1 step, 2 step, another back ocho, and I'm going to go another sandwich, another forward step. Here I don't keep going. I'm going to bring her in front of me, and I'm going to finish 6, 7, 8, just to practice that. Okay, let me do it from the other side a little bit here so you can tell how my chest is working. Side step, back ocho, back ocho, forward step, side step, backward ocho. I go back, 1, I'm done, forward ocho, and I finish 6, 7, 8. Okay, now you probably are already, if you know how to dance tango, you're already like connecting your movement with the beautiful waltz that we're listening in the background. So the idea is to create that not syncopation, but create that connection with the music. And in order to guide you to the music, I want you to find the strong beat. Let's not talk about upbeat or downbeat. This is waltz, so it's a little bit different than tango. We're going to go with boom, 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 boom. So if I think about that, I'm going to, just for today, I'm going to give it a number. See, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The first thing that we have to understand when we're working with the music is try to go with it, okay? I know that for some of you this is going to sound a little bit tedious because you already know how to move. The thing is that as a leader, I'm not moving my body with the rhythm of the music. I'm moving my dancer, my dance partner with that rhythm. So first, I really need you to think in the music, not so much in your movements, okay? Every time that you can, listen to waltz and find that 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. I keep going wherever I'm going, but you can even practice while you're waiting for something to happen. 1, 2. 1, 2. At first, when we tango waltz is not dance like Viennese waltz. Viennese waltz would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you are familiar with waltz, this is not going to help you if you're familiar with Viennese waltz. So that's the reason why I want you first to disconnect from Viennese waltz and try to listen to that upbeat. Pa, 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 pa. Okay? We're dancing tango waltz. It's a little bit different. Now, provided that we are considering that beat, I want you to try to do an extra back sandwich, I mean. So, I'm going to do 3 this time. Bam, 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 bam. Okay? Once again, if you imagine this movement with your dance partner, which I'm going to show you now with the sticks, you're going to realize how important it is to move her, your dance partner, not so much you. So sometimes because we're moving, when we just think about our movements and we ignore our dance partner, we're going to end up dancing a little bit off the music. Or our dance partner is going to arrive late to that beat because you're not leading her correctly. So Fancy shoe is the right leg of our dance partner. Left shoe is the regular shoe. So once again, I don't want you to pay attention what's the direction of the dance. Actually, I'm going to show you from here. I'm going to do 3 back ochos in a row. Pam, 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 pam. In some opportunities while I was doing these steps, I even was taking 2 beats, which is good because I want you to take that time. As leaders, we can take as many beats that we want. We cannot have this notion that we cannot miss a beat. This is not a competition. You're not in a race. We're just having fun. So I want you to listen to the music very carefully, okay? Now, you have seen that although I'm asking you not to pay attention in what I am doing with the exercise, I'm moving forward. In slow motion, don't think of the music, think of the movement. I'm guiding my movement to be around me. Pam, pam, back ocho. My torso is leading that back ocho. I lead her around me in 1, 2, 3 steps. From here, 1, 2, 3. When she's stepping the number 3, I have to be stepping my sandwich, the first part of my sandwich with my right foot. So, see, we're going to do that sequence of 3 of her and my foot going to the sandwich. I start with a back ocho, another back ocho, and here I start the sandwich. She's going 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I am not worrying about just doing my 3. I need to make sure that my upper body is guiding her correctly to go 1, 2, 3. If I am lazy and I don't use my upper body and I just expect her to walk, she's going to lose the energy here. And probably what I don't want to happen is that she does this herself and she ends up going back. And you're thinking, okay, I have to do another forward ocho. See, what if she doesn't go back on this side, and if she goes backwards here, and you do your sandwich here, I am not moving any longer. I'm just going randomly in this spot, which is okay, but I want you to control the movement, not let the movement control you. So I want you to navigate. Now, if you're into waltz, which everybody knows, I don't know anybody that at least once in their lives has danced a little bit of a waltz, you can add a little bit of syncopation there. We're not doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 all the time, but we can do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See how I'm going to do that? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. One, two, 1 2 1 2 1 2. I wait. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. So there I'm coming back to very basic notion of how to do a syncopation while doing the sandwich. So we are not using a full beat. We're going pam 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 pam. I'm making a little bit faster only when the sandwich is happening. Even if you're practicing this at home with the sticks, you can start moving a little bit more. I'm going to add another sandwich. I'm going to do 4 of them and trying to go together with the music. Pam, 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 pam. I come back so you can see from the other perspective. 4, pam, 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 pam. Okay, it is not very complicated. The one thing that I want you to understand from this lesson is how important is to go with the music. Now, if you have been watching the last 2 lessons in which we were doing a molinete in 2 axes, you're going to understand what we are doing also today, which is the same thing. It is a different set of steps. We're not moving in that sequence, but we are using the same technical molinete, which is using 2 axes, and by that, using 2 axes to move, that means that the lady or the your dance partner is not going around you, or you're going around her only. That would be a regular molinete. When we have 2 axis molinete, you go around her and then she goes around you. Then you go around her and so forth. So it's like a very nice organized set of steps. Okay, now let me explain when you're moving your axis there and how beautiful you can keep this in your head. It's like a very interesting mechanical shape that this so her axis, right? In the first part, don't worry about for now the steps. I'm moving my axis around her. When I do the sandwich, see how my axis is being moved around her. Then I'm inviting her to move around me. She's moving around me. I don't move. Then I move around her. And then I invite her to move around me. Okay? That is very, very important for you to understand. When you practice this, like I said earlier, if you keep in your head that wonderful shape of what is going on in the movement, she goes, You go. She goes. You go. That makes me understand the rhythm of waltz a little bit better. It's like Viennese waltz, the kind of like the movement, it feels like Viennese waltz, but actually you're not using that much of steps. You're not going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're just bum, 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 bum. Only every now and then you can do that. Because we are spinning, most of you are going to tell me, oh my God, Renee, how can you do 4? This is so very difficult. I can't do 4. That's the reason we started with 2. If you pay attention to your feet, if you're practicing this in this manner, of course you're going to get dizzy. If you keep moving your whole head, if I don't do this association and I move like I'm moving right now, I get dizzy. If I use my joints and I always imagine my dance partner in front of me. Okay? Practice this. I know at this point I'm giving you a lot of information, the way that your posture should be, the way that your feet should be doing the exercise, and the way that you should be making this association. All of them make sense when you put them together. Now, that is very, very difficult when you are new to these movements, but nothing is going to hit you in the head and you're going to be able to understand it immediately. You have to practice. So the best way to practice is setting a north. I'm going to go there. I'm going to use 2 back ojos. So I focus where I'm going. I have to make 2 back ojos at first. I make the 2 back ojos. I pause. I go to the first sandwich. If I go here, I cannot keep going that way. So I'm going to bring my dance partner, keep moving in that direction. Forward step, side step, back ocho. See, she started doing another back ocho in that same position where we did it before. So from there, I keep doing. Look at how my hips are working here. 1, 2, hips. So I know that once again, the flexibility in your body is not going to come again like a hit. Boom. Oh, see, yes, Renee said to me, I have to be flexible. And if you're not flexible enough, try to practice a little bit of, elongate the muscles on your midsection. The best way to try to practice that is you have a wall behind you and you're going to spread your feet and then try to touch that wall behind you. If you get good at that and you feel more comfortable with that movement, try to do a little bit of a push-up. You lean on that wall and using your lats, you come back to your axis. So lean, come back. Lean, come back. That is going to give you a little bit of that tension in your muscles. And the moment that you have that tension, you're going to feel very comfortable using them, because you're going to know which part of your body you require to tense, to use, which muscles are doing this job. There is not just one muscle that you're elongating or that you're using basically your whole core. because you're leading from up here. You need the sides, the muscles on your sides. You're using the muscles in all the muscles in your back are being used, especially the ones that are around your spine, and your abs, because your abs are pulling also. That doesn't mean that you have to be athletic to do this exercise. All you have to do is understand where you are going, okay? But then your own body is going to welcome that elongation, that exercise that you will be adding to this movement. The better that this goes, the more you're going to have control over where you're going. For now, I don't want you to think too much in that. That's not the goal. The goal is that you're doing it nice and with a lot of disassociation. Elegantly, not so much fast and in just one direction like a soldier. Feel what you're doing with your body, okay? Now, one thing that happens a lot, because once again, like I said earlier, we are combining a lot of information. It's the steps, it's the musicality, is the disassociation. So most of the time what happens is that you lose the concentration with the music. And I repeat, if that happens, if you lose the concentration, you can use as many beats as you want. Let's say I do this and I forgot to do the disassociation, and then I think, oh God, I have to do it, and then wait, bam, 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 bam. See, you, in that aspect, the music is flowing, but you can take it, especially when you're practicing, you can take it beat by beat. Now, if you know the beat and you want to have more fluidity, you can try. So instead of doing 1, 2, 1, 2, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later in our next lesson, when I'm going to start combining this exercise with another exercise. For now, like I said before, it is very interesting that you learn how to lead with your torso, stay with your torso, and move your hips. Now, I promised you that I was going to show you an exercise when you're going after the sandwich. See, I need to move in the first part, in the exercise that I told you to do against the wall. You're moving your upper body and you're leaving your lower body stuck on the floor, right? Now I want you to do the opposite. We're going to put ourselves in a Hava Nagila position, and with this hip I'm going to try to rotate first, and my foot is going to go right under my elbow, but just my toe is going to touch the ground, because I need to come back and do it on the other side. At first, it's going to be difficult to pivot your foot. You can skip the pivot and just try to arrive. Once again, the goal is that you feel how your hips are completely going in a perpendicular angle from your chest, your shoulders, and your hip bone. Okay? I go to the other side. Eventually, I'm going to lift my heels a little bit in order to create a pivot. That is going to help you control the movement a little bit better. If you want to create a little bit more of that disassociation, you can leave your elbows in front of you. In the pivot, I impulse myself. Okay? Don't force yourself, work slowly and try to make the elongation a little bit more and more every time that you practice. The more you elongate, the better your movement is going to become. Okay? Whenever we do this, like I said at the very beginning of the lesson, if you don't elongate in the back, the form of the exercise is not going to happen. That pretty part of like feeling that the axes are going one after the other gets lost. It becomes like a bouncing step that it's still dancing, but it doesn't have that which we are looking for. Okay, so very simple. Try to practice this. Try to practice the elongation. You already know how to lead back ochos, so just all you have to do is practice. Okay, now let's see what the ladies have to do, which is completely different from this. So ladies, pay attention. Okay, this is not going to be that dramatic of the change of what you already know. At this point, you all know how to do a back ocho. Once again, if you don't know what a back ocho is or a sandwich is, please go back a few lessons and you're going to understand what I mean. But for all of you that already know what you're doing, who doesn't know a back ocho? And after that, a sandwich. You know that in the back ocho, you have to go under your elbow, another ocho under your elbow, and there is a pause here. In the pause, we're not going to try to sit down. We're not going to bend our knees. We're just going to wait until we get invited to keep going. So in that part of the sandwich, there is a rebound movement. I'm going to move from side to side. My center is going from one foot to the other. I want you to try to do this at home. I'm going to put my feet a little bit wider than the width of my shoulders. And then I'm going to, see, I'm trying to move my belly button on top of my left big toe. And from there, see, I'm giving it a little bit of space with my hip, so to achieve that. And I'm going to go to the other side. You can tell that the line of my waist, it's moving up, down, up, down. So see, if I do a rebound using my core, it feels like very nice. Okay, I cannot do this. See, if I keep that stiff, or I'm going to end up, if I don't use my core, I'm going to end up doing this. And that has a different taste of a movement than this. Write in the comments which would like you to do, this or this. Of course, like I am always asking you ladies, there is a movement of your hip bone, but you're not moving your hip bone. I have to move my hip bone because my hip bone is very narrow. I am a guy. You're a woman. You are women, so you have a little bit of wider structure in your hip bones. So that is going to move automatically if you allow that to happen. Now let's imagine that, see, we're not doing any movement in this position, okay? let's look at, I'm going to pivot. So I'm going to move first my nose, my chin, then my shoulders, then my hips, and finally my feet. And I'm going to keep doing that movement, trying to feel that flexibility that I must have in my joints. You're going to feel, and my knees are still very elongated, very nice. So thinking of this exercise, you're going to find what is your right position at some point of the set of steps that we're explaining today. Now, see how I'm going to walk backwards. I want you to practice this before we get into the set of steps. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I can change directions and go forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm still grabbing the ground with my feet. I'm using my adductors and my abductors to keep my balance. If I don't use the muscles that I just mentioned, the adductors, abductors, glutes, I am going to lose my balance. Okay, that is going to make me trip a little bit. If you're in control, like when we walk, we are always in control of our feet, and I don't need to bend my knees. The fact that I'm not bending my knees is making me look a lot more elongated and elegant. Okay, so that is the first notion that we have to have in a sandwich. So when we do the sandwich, I go back ocho, another back ocho, and see, I'm bouncing, bam, 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 and I keep going. Okay, so you have to feel that bounce, chum, 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 in whichever direction that the leader is taking you. There's a lot of other steps that we're going to learn how to do when there is this bouncing. Sometimes it's going to go on the side, and you always have to have this feeling that your body has this motion, never this. See how like my axis starts moving in a funny way, or like this, because then I lose the elongation of my dancing leg. Okay, that we're going to work in the future. But what is happening with this step? So the leader is that is the direction of dance. So the leaders are taking you to back ocho. The moment that you feel that bouncing, I'm going to try to go with the music. I'm going 1, 2, and I'm asking the leaders to practice first with that 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, finish. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's do it from the other side. Side, back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If you allow the leader to lead and you just calm down, you don't try to do the steps by yourself, and you wave, you're going to start feeling how interesting is the movement, because you're going to feel that lead, and also how much time you have, because I don't want you to think that this is it. You, in every movement that you can possibly do in tango, you can add a little bit of an embellishment. Please note that I'm not encouraging you to do an embellishment all the time. I'm just trying you to connect you with the music. You're going to measure your embellishments, but for now, I want you to have all the information possible. And when you practice with the music and fit this embellishment. See, at first, I'm going to show you now an embellishment, but I'm going to do it very slow so you know what is happening and what I'm doing. So let's say you start doing back ocho, and this is 1, 2. The foot of the leader is next to your foot because he just did a sandwich and he's going back. So when you're going towards his foot, say I'm going to do it in slow motion. Bam, 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 bam. And then I finish with two forward ochos. But the thing is, I'm going bam, bam, bam. I want you to look at my legs right in front of the camera. You cannot see my right leg. You're looking at my left leg only. That's the way it has to be. And when I am doing the tap on the foot of the leader, I'm covering the space in between my legs and I keep going. I cannot do this because then there is a space. My lower body looks too thick if I do that. I'm going to try to look like a needle. 1, 2, 1. After this, the leader is moving and I go with that same movement. Okay? So remember, when you're touching, you're tapping, your knee has to go opposite of the other leg, pa, and keep going. No matter if you're going forward or you're going to the side. Now, if you're going to have a better look at this, if I do it with the sticks. I'm going to do this off the music first so you can see what is happening. Side step, the leader lifts you up. First back ocho. Second back ocho. In the second back ocho, he's inviting you to stop. He does the sandwich. He moves back, and this moving back is making you feel that he just generated space for you to walk forward. So don't just take that space immediately. At this point, your hip is going here and he's going forward. Tap. At this point, the leader keeps doing sandwich and move. Bam. And another one. Your hips are still moving. I go behind. While I'm going forward, I'm tapping. Okay, and after that, you're going to be doing 2 back ochos. But once again, not so much. I want you to pay attention again what the movements of the leaders are. Don't pay too much attention in the embellishment. Everything is arriving in an organized movement. Okay, because I'm just using the sticks with my feet. I mean, because I'm using the sticks only with my hands, it doesn't feel exactly what the leaders are doing. So many times after the leader has done the back ocho and he's ready for you to walk forward, he might collect his foot to find a little bit of stability in his body. So that's the reason why I want you to know what is happening, but don't learn the steps of the leaders by heart. If I want to practice this all by myself, without the sticks, and trying to think a little bit of the connection of the music, I can go just like this. See, I'm going to do two back ochos and I'm going to imagine that I have to pause. 1, 2, pa, 1, 2, 1, 2, pam, 1, 2, pam, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I want you to feel that 1, 2, 3, that pam, pam, pam that I was asking the leaders to follow in their version of the step. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, that is when you're thinking about this step. What happens if I just want to practice this without thinking, without limiting myself in just one step? See, I'm going to do one tango time and the other tango waltz. Pam, 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 pam. Now, if you want to practice just waltz, I'm going to, every time I walk, I'm going to count pam, 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 kind of like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Pa, 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 pa. I can practice this going back. If you connect in that way with the music, it is going to become a lot more easy, a lot more, even more enjoyable for you to follow these steps. The moment of your embellishment has nothing to do with the moment that the leader is speeding up. It's like when he's going around you, he is speeding up, cha-cha-cha. And then it's your turn. So you try not to control what the leader is doing. Try to just focus in your own movements, that you're doing a syncopation this time on your own. Always remember that your embellishments are in control of solely you. The leader is not controlling any embellishments. That's the reason that you have to have this notion of the music and how your movements, how the movements of that embellishment that you're making are going to fit the music perfectly. If you take too much time, the leader is not leading that, and there is going to be at some point some disconnection. If you do it too fast, there is going to be another disconnection. You have to work in a way that your embellishment is working with the music and with the leader. And in the same way, I ask the leaders to move their upper body first, think of the music, and then move their feet last. You have to deal with that. I know that the music is never changing. I know that because the leader is thinking of all the information that I share with them, they are not probably going to listen to the music at first. But you have to be patient. You have to let the music you have to let the leader place you in the right moment of the music, and then it's your turn to take it and work on that, at least for now, in this particular lesson, in this particular exercise. But this information also applies to every embellishment that you make. You have to do it within the timing of the music and the timing of the lead. It's your ability to do this embellishment happen completely flawless, that even the leader is going to be surprised that you did it. The leaders are not supposed to wait for you when you do an embellishment. They are thinking bam, bam, or I don't know, they probably are thinking bam, bam, bam. But if you pay attention to the way that the music is going and the way that the leader is, the pace in which he is going, you can fit in between your embellishments. So it's so many times I use this term that you're stealing from certain parts your embellishments, but I want to believe that also you can do that, but I want to believe that there is also a certain communication in between the leader and the follower that is creating that is allowing that to happen, that the woman has the chance of communicate certain thing that is like her embellishment. The more that you use your core in order to be able to communicate for both followers and leaders, the better is going to this exchange of information is going to happen. And at some point you're going to feel like, God, I mean, she's just like guessing, she's anticipating, but in a good way, what I'm going to do, because she's going to be following you flawlessly in the case of us leaders. And in the case of you ladies, you're going to be thinking, oh, I could do that kick here, and all of a sudden you're going to feel that that leg is doing that, because probably you do it so many times that the leader is allowing you to do that. He's kind of like impulsing your leg to do that pretty movement. Okay, so take these things in consideration when you're dancing. It's not just the step, it's the communication that you have to have with your dance partner and with the music. We have a great advantage because the music is fantastic. The music is designed to dance. So especially the music that we'll listen from the frame of the 40s. So this is a little bit earlier than that. This is Francisco Canaro, and we have been listening to just one song because I wanted you to pay attention to just the beats. However, if you listen any waltz, because I want you to practice these steps with waltz, if you listen with waltz, you're going to realize that you cannot miss the beats. You cannot miss the beautiful part of every single note that is coming from the song. The songs are crafted for the dancers, so they are in a way very easy to follow. Okay? A final note for the followers. I'm asking the leaders to use this association. in so many opportunities when we were doing back ochos, I asked you to do perfect back ochos, but I want to remind you a little bit how to do those backward ochos. I'm going to take off my shoes because I want you to look at my toes and my ankles that are very important in this movement. When you're taking a back ocho, you have to elongate your ankle and your toes for just a very short period of time. So, of course, you don't have, the beat is going boom, boom, right? So you don't have a lot of time. So when you practice at home, try to do this exercise. What you need practice is in the agility of elongate and walk, elongate and walk. If you create this elongation, you're going to be using that core, and also the moment that you're doing a back ocho, your leg is going to be going completely straight, completely elongated. When you do this kind of movement, you look nice, you look organized, your form is like a dancer. I know that some teachers still today teach to bend your knees when you're going back ochos. That's old school tango. If you want to really make it look nice, you can keep yourself tall and throw your leg like an arrow. It requires a little bit more of an effort because you have to have a very nice core to lift your hip, to play from there, and to elongate your legs. The more in control you are of every part of the muscles, the joints, the how you're doing this movement, the movement is going to come a lot better, a lot easier, and a lot more enjoyable. Not only for the people that are looking at you, but you're going to never forget how to create that shape of movement that you're doing. When you don't have that structure, it's very easy to do any movement. But when you have the right structure, it takes a while to understand it. But once you have it, nobody is going to ever take it from you. And every time that somebody looks at you dancing, or you feel dancing like that, you're going to know, you're going to be sure that you're doing a great job. And that's exactly what I want you to take from these lessons, that you're always doing a great job, that you're always are in the right form of your dancing. Okay, so don't ever forget that. Well, other than that, that's how simple the steps are for you. There is no secret in these steps. Next week, we're going to combine with some other things, and we're going to keep doing certain embellishments that you can add to this collection of steps that we're doing. So don't miss the next lesson. It's very important. And thank you so very much, ladies, because, once again, it takes a lot of patience, not just from your part to be patient with yourselves. I'm always asking to have patience with the leaders. And, if you're patient with the leaders, you are generating good leaders. If you're impatient with the leaders, the leaders are going to be thinking that they know how to lead, and we're always going to be mediocre. You have to be patient, develop your dance together with the leader. The more that you develop with the leader, the better leaders are going to be in our community, and the community level is going to go up in a very nice way. Okay? And talking about community, like I said at the very beginning of the lesson, we are about to reopen. A lot of things are getting very, very positive around us. We're lucky to have that. Not everywhere in the world people are able to come back, but we are, and we're so very happy for it. Please, probably I'll be making announcements about the dates and how we're going to come back, especially at Glen Echo. I don't have yet that information, but it's going to happen in the coming weeks, so be very prepared for that. We do have a date for the alternative music milonga that is going to happen at the end of this month, on June the 25th, the last Friday, the fourth Friday of the month. And we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to be dancing again together in an embrace. So it's very, very important for you to come and enjoy this wonderful event. Also, we have a new episode in our podcast, The Tangling Tangos, an excellent song, Tristeza Marina, The Sadness of the Oceans. It's a very, very, very cool song. Listen to it and let's hear what your comments are later after this lesson. Okay, we get together in our virtual Milonga, Glen Echo Milonga, every Sunday at 7:30 for now. Okay, so I will see you then, and if not, I will see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your day.